What is up, guys? It's been a little while. It's been a good amount of time since the last video, say August, maybe? Well, I've had school and other random nonsense going on since then, but we're back with another video, and let's get started with it. Okay, today, guys, we got a PlayStation. You might be wondering, why is it in this bag? Well, the first time this PlayStation came in, it had termites quite literally all inside of it. And yes, in case you're wondering, they were live. So this time we have a same PlayStation, and again, I've put it in a bag just in case. But if I zoom in here, you can see all the little termite parts. Yay! We cleaned this out decently last time. We didn't do full in-depth cleaning since we didn't have time and the customer was quite rushed. But this time, we may have to go a little deeper into cleaning. So information on these devices, they have 3 screws on the back. This one looks like it's already missing 2. I do know this customer had done a prior repair by himself. Again, he didn't really repair the device. He just more ended up sending it our way because he messed something up. But usually there's a screw right here, a screw here, a screw here, screw here. So we have 4 on the back, and they're almost always covered in little stickers. So pay attention to that. But the way I like taking apart these devices is getting my neato little drill here. There's one Phillips. The rest are all T8 to T10. So again, be aware of that. Take out his drive very carefully. We don't want to damage his data. Put it to the side. We do not need that till the very end once we're testing. So for these devices, there are many different ways to take them apart. We do see we have 2 obvious screws here. Now I have also worked on this device before, and I do know that this piece is broken. And so usually you'd have to unscrew these 2 right here, and then this whole piece would come up. But see this like clear bluish piece? This is actually where the light shows through right here, and then that's how you get your button illuminated. And so we are just going to put these wherever we'd like. They're all the same, so do not worry about mixing them up. There are some different ones, but they're on the other side. So this side, we can't mess with them. So just put them anywhere you'd like, no specific order needed. So we're just gonna take this off, put it to the side as well. So again, continuing here, we have many, many different screws, and there are many, many different ways of going about this. I'm just gonna go ahead and unplug the fan cable here. So we have 2 Phillips here. The rest are all T8. And so let's just fast forward and get to it. Okay, good. So we're good for right now. And what we're gonna do at this point is we are going to flip the device over, take out the 2 screws that we can barely see right here, and then we are going to turn it back around and then take this side out. So let's turn it around. Same process as before, from the back to the front. We're gonna pull it up, just like that. It should come straight off. CD drive power cable, this one, and we have a live termite. We have our CD drive cable, this one. We have our power for the CD drive cable, and we have our Wi-Fi antenna. I always leave this cable in on the board side just so I don't have to mess with it later. So I'm going to turn it back around. Hopefully no termites come out. And now we can take out these 2 screws that hold the CPU in place. Okay, so I'm just going to get those out. This whole bracket lifts up. Again, I'm gonna put this over here. I consider this like my bottom and special screws section. This will just come up after we make sure all our screws are gone. No termites, that's always a great thing. Okay, so we are basically done here. All we have to do is lift up our board, and again, we're doing an HDMI port replacement. I didn't mention that at the beginning, but now I have. Slowly get the board out, lift it up, and there's our board. So I'm going to put this away, put it on our soldering station. We'll get right to that. There's the HDMI port right here, and we'll see why it's not working. Okay, new, drastically different angle. So what we're gonna do here is you cannot really tell very well at least, but we have all these pins right here. So all these pins need to be soldered down properly for the HDMI port that we have here to actually display. And so we are going to check every single one of these pins, and if they wobble or if they bend, then they're not soldered down properly, which probably means he broke the port. So let's check it. So yeah, I'm already seeing a few bendy pins. So this bad boy is gonna probably just have to be reflowed, because it looks like the port's in there pretty well. Yeah, so I'm just going to reflow this port, which is the process of putting very hot air next to the port and to get all those little tiny pins that we see down there to melt. So I'm gonna do that really quick. I'll be back in just a moment. Didn't think that was gonna work, but it was worth a shot. So now I'm gonna have to solder an entirely new port on. Wish me luck. Okay, this angle works. Port's off successfully, and now I have to clean up the little solder pins, and then I have to put the new port on and reflow it. Let's do it. Just finished our board. Let's go put it back in the machine. Okay, let's clean off the thermal paste first, and then we're gonna reapply some here. It's not necessary. You can keep it on there, but it is definitely better for the customer to at least reapply the thermal paste. Turn it this way, and then we are going to put it down. And again, we got to make sure this little cable goes through this second hole. Okay, so we put this in first, line up that cable on the side. I wish I could get a better angle, but this is about the most I could do while doing all of this at once. And look at it from the angle. There we go. Okay, plug in our fan, just because it's right there. And I have thermal paste over my finger. 1 second. Better, not great. Okay, now what I like to do is put this top piece on, and then get our little bracket with our 2 long screws. Put that over top of here. The only reason I do this is so that we are able to flip the device over without worrying about our board being damaged, and so that the device doesn't fall apart. Okay. And again, that's just a tension bracket so the device, so the CPU stays in place and stays with connection to the thermal pad. So just plug our cables in. This one you can just push in. All these just push in the same way that they came out. Okay, so remember what I was talking about for right here? We have to have this cable through that hole. That is why. Now, I like to do it this way. You find your little connector piece, and then we're gonna line that up with this, plug it in beforehand. Again, it just makes, this is all about making our lives as easy as possible and not having to take the device back apart 30 times. Gonna get our screws, layer them in there. And what we're gonna do next is test the device, make sure everything works, make sure it outputs, and then put it back together and we'll be done. So let me hook it up to the TV in 1 moment. Got everything plugged back in to test, and boom, we have display. So let me put it back together, call the customer, and then on to our next job. And finally we have it put all back together and still working just perfectly fine. Okay, so to recap, we had to take the PlayStation apart. We had to take it down to its board level, so that's everything on the device had to be taken off, except for again that little tiny piece for the power supply. And then we had to put it under a microscope, try to reflow it, which didn't work. I didn't think it would, but it was worth a shot. Put a new HDMI port on, soldered that properly, and then also reinforced the top so it's really not going to move up and down, because he's broken many ports, like probably 3 or 4 now. And all of my other solder jobs never come back. His comes back. every few months, it seems like. So that's all good to go. It all works fine. I did have to rebuild the database on his hard drive just because his hard drive goes in and out for some reason. Even though we've replaced it a few months back, I don't know what he does with it at home. Again, it has termites, so maybe that has something to do with it. But he's all set and ready to go, and that's it. Leave any questions that you have in the comments below, and I think that wraps it up for this video. Thanks, guys.